Well, despite the odds for us NA people, SSG not victorious in their game against Wolf Sam, but I am still very excited for the first time we get to cast LATAM or Brazil in Brazil. Of course, I'm Lynx, joined by Stokes for my first debut at SI, but both of our first times casting SI together, which in my opinion, that's the best part.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, first time in Brazil. You know, I've been doing this for some time now.
True.
Yeah, almost 6 years. Never been to Brazil. But, hey, first time for everything. We're here now. And not only that, we have a Brazilian team to be able to cast here in the likes of FaZe. We're going to be covering FaZe versus DPlus Key, guys. That's on the right-hand side of your screen here in Stream B. Over on Stream A, though, we got Dark Zero versus Geek going on right now.
Yeah, a lot of big plays in that matchup. We saw an ace from Hashom, a 1v2 from Hashom, and also a big debut from Nafe so far. I don't know the exact score, but I do know it's a pretty dead heat on Chalet. So maybe you can have that up on the other monitor, but for the game we have coming up, you might be thinking, oh, you know, DPlus Kia, they don't have a great record. But really, we want to see FaZe Clan in action. That is the big story of today. What could be one of the top contenders, not just to make Phase 2, not just to make Phase 3, but to take the whole damn tournament. It is W7M, G2, and it just might be FaZe as that third true contender in Brazil.
Absolutely. A lot of stellar names on this FaZe roster and just steeped in the history of Siege as well across a bunch of different organizations, but now they wear that crown of FaZe Clan, and they're here today to try and start off on the right foot up against DPlus Kia. And I really think that they can, Carter. They looked so consistent in Atlanta. They've had 3 months to kind of retool things, try and add a couple extra screwdrivers to the kit or something like that, right? So we'll have to see what they have going for themselves.
And of course, we have DPlus Kia as their opponents in this matchup, routinely either the #1 or the #2 seed coming out of Korea, always sharing that spot or fighting for it against Fearless Fox or Fear X, as we'll see in G2 and Dark Zero's group. But interesting fact about DPlus Kia and FaZe, there are 5 teams in all of Rainbow Six this past year who ended the year, went into SI with all of their players at a positive rating. W7M, FaZe Clan, 2 of those teams. But interestingly, DPlus Kia, also one of those teams, but Sam, unfortunately, whereas FaZe Clan have been able to translate that huge domestic success internationally, constantly having 4 or 5 players with an over 1.0 rating. DPlus Kia, really bolstered by their domestic performances, but we're still waiting 2-3 years since that huge peak in Sweden, where they almost knocked FaZe Clan out of an event they ended up winning. We're still waiting to see that same team appear internationally.
Yeah, we are. It's been a little while for them, and they've had a few flashes in the pan every once in a while up against these teams, some big rounds, some things you really wouldn't expect out of them, but it all seems to boil back down to one thing, man. They're very good when it comes to national competition. As soon as it gets international, the wheels fall off the wagon. So we're really hoping that SI could potentially be something a little bit different for DPlus Kia. I mean, just for this match, in general, Carter, they really shouldn't be too worried about this. I mean, it's already set up. We know who FaZe is. They're one of the best damn teams in the world.
Yeah.
Just play your game and see how it goes.
Of course, we do have the map veto to look at. One thing we haven't mentioned so far, and one thing I'm sure you're already acquainted with if you watched SSG Wolves on the B stream, is Tubarão. And what do you know? We have Oregon and Club as our guaranteed 2 maps. Clubhouse we've seen twice already between G2 and NIP and SSG and Wolves. G2 NIP did not have Tubarão, but SSG Wolves did, and boy did SSG use it to the greatest extent possible. And if you thought it was annoying on Clubhouse with its exterior walls, it's going to be even more oppressive on some of those Oregon bomb sites.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can try and implement Hubby into this situation. I mean, the one that you and I discussed was the top floor, kind of trying to play things around attic, especially if you play the pit area. You have access to not only the attic wall, obviously, but if you run over to that door, you can just toss one of those things across the map and end up hitting that master bedroom wall as well. So just a really good location to be able to play him.
And FaZe Clan are also going into this with a huge, ace up their sleeve, which is while DPlus Kia has been trying this same style for years and years and always finding themselves in this rut, FaZe Clan have been able to switch up playstyles in match on a dime and still find success. So whether Tubarão is banned or left up, or if he's left up, will they find success? I have no doubt FaZe Clan will. DPlus Kia, we didn't mention this on the roster screen, but they do have a new pickup. They have picked up the Molly, played for La Vega, and was the standout player for them in Copenhagen. So 9 months ago, might very well have been a next-up Korean superstar. That's certainly what DPlus Kia thinks, but La Vega got grouped in Korea, and if DPlus Kia haven't changed much else, if they're betting on this one player to rejuvenate the roster, It's not like maybe, you know, an Ashen in North America who is so successful on his teams in T3, or some of these other star pickups we've seen. Very recently, that star power wasn't enough to get Damali's previous team over the line domestically in Korea. DPlus Kia might need to change a whole lot more, and they need to do it here.
Yes, indeed. But this is where the rubber hits the road, Carter, as they say. And for DPlus Kia, I mean, I think the time has come. We've had 3 months here to kind of rework things. Same as I said for FaZe Clan, DPlus and the rest of the teams here, that's all been their focus. Their focal point has been SI and trying to improve and trying to add new things to make sure that they can be competitive.
Their Korean counterparts, FaZe, we talked about how the Korean scene has felt so stagnant in terms of its competition. They're always here but never succeeding. FaZe, Brazilian coach Gart coming in, boot camping in Brazil before SI to try and change things up, to finally break the cycle of inadequacy we've seen over the past few years. So if FaZe are doing it, if they're starting to realize it, surely DPlus Kia, who are just as, if not more successful in at least making consistently the Phase 2 of majors via their domestic ranking, DPlus Kia, hopefully while they've taken notes from their Korean counterparts, started to maybe learn those other play styles or take influences from other regions, or just on their own come to that conclusion and bring in Damali as potentially a sign of that, to say, all right, we're making a change, we're bringing in a new player, and that signifies the changes we're making in the play styles overall. We might have a case, we haven't seen FaZe play yet, where maybe the Korean scene really starts turning things around, and if DPlus Kia, even if they don't end up winning, if it's still a barn burner like that Sweden match was 2.5, almost 3 years ago, man, that will be probably one of the biggest statements we've seen so far today.
Yeah, we need a pulse back in this region, most definitely. And I think that this could definitely provide some lifeblood with DPlus Kia as well as FaZe being here, but we need results. That's the thing, you know? And that's what we're always going to come back to at the end of the day when it comes to big matches like this, you know? DPlus Kia definitely have some things in their arsenal to be able to pull out against FaZe Clan. They have some really solid players, but I mean, FaZe is FaZe, man. When you have people like Handy, you know, you got people like Cyber, it's always going to be a tough task.
Cyber probably one of the biggest names on this roster, at least in terms of history and aggression and playstyle. But going into the semifinals of Atlanta, he was their lowest rated player. Now, to be fair, at a 1.07, I think, so he was still doing very well. But the rest of the team, they didn't need Cyber to be this crazy, you know, manhunter inside of the game, always finding his kills, always finding his impact. Souls is able to do it, Handy's able to do it, Vita King, everybody, KDS can do it. Oftentimes do it better than Cyber, despite his monstrous reputation as an insane player coming out of Brazil. And if Cyber doesn't need to show up and you just need everyone else to be the great players that they are, this is where it's so hard to really find the positives for DPlus Kia. We want them to meet that same watermark they achieved themselves in 2021. We want them to live up to the potential to bring life and a breath of fresh air to the Korean scene. But FaZe Clan in the first game. In the first game, it's just a tough matchup to start, and at least for me, while I definitely am leaning towards FaZe Clan, if they have a good showing, if they can get maybe even a map, and they still lose 2-1, that would be more than enough to have a lot more positivity for DPlus Kia than we have had in previous tournaments.
Absolutely. All right, guys, well, we're going to toss you to a quick break. When we're back, we'll be back with DPlus Kia versus FaZe.
They fall back to back to back to back, and it looks so funny because, well, GK, they push down the staircase. What do you know? Right behind them, 2 Darkseer members. They get that initial kill. GK, they try and flank it back in their control. They get shut down. Then Darkseer, they say, you know what? We got blue control. I'm going to go back up to lobby. Then he dies on the blue stairs too. 4 members. Just like that. The entire round defined in that small area off the bomb side. And this was the issue that I spoke of earlier. Yeah, you got vertical destruction, you got 1 set of smoke grenades on the Brava, but they don't have any real way to break apart the bomb site or establish a plant or bomb site control. No Osa, no Monty, no Glass, and the smoke grenades, they were on blue staircase. They couldn't go in from the primary breach, they didn't fully lock down the flank in the room clear, so they got flanked late round. So GK, they have this big painting that they want to approach and say, you know what, make a sky, make an ocean, make some trees, but they're missing some of those small details. The tree has no leaves, right? Nothing's growing on that tree. So I like what they're trying to accomplish, but there are a couple of small gaps, and perhaps, you know, with Leader not being here this time to help them, maybe that was his job. Maybe he was the guy that was like, you know what, nitty-gritty details, make sure we have this covered, guys. Otherwise, great plan.
I know there's going to be a lot of eyes on Bolo because he is one of the biggest figures in all of Rainbow Six, not just as a player, but also as a content creator. I mean, for those that are maybe a bit...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here with DPlus Kia versus FaZe. Jumping right into the ban phase, we got things ironed out very quickly. Shout out to our tech support here at the event. But let's jump into things here on Oregon, Carter. We're going to be starting things off with a Capitao ban, of all things. You don't really see that too often, but we're going to be talking about this a lot today. A lot of operators' kits got reworked. They have access to new things they didn't have before, as well as, well, we got Tubarão in as well, too. So...
yeah, keeping track of secondary gadget change is already one thing. Keeping track of the amount of interactions the Zoto canisters have with every gadget in the game is already an extremely daunting affair. But the bans have almost transpired, and we're on the last defensive one. Will we see that Tubarão ban? I definitely think between Oregon and Clubhouse, Clubhouse might edge out Tubarao's importance over Oregon just a little bit with the importance of exterior walls like Jacuzzi and Plat Wall, but Oregon's certainly too, but instead... we have the Cade ban, and that is huge for the attack's chances on attacking that basement bomb site. And I think on that basement site, combining the Zoto canisters with the Electro Claws, freezing it, and then trying to maybe maneuver the electricity so it still remains on and outside of that Zoto radius, that could be a huge strategy if we were to see both operators up. But with that Cade ban, I think if we see Tubarão, it'll probably be more focused on that top floor bomb site, maybe the middle.
Bombs from being defused by
I really agree with you. It's not going to be in this lineup here for DPlus Kia, sadly, but likely cross that bridge at some moment here today. Past that, though, another addition that we do have to talk about before we get too deep into this for some people that may not have been paying attention to the patches here over the last couple of months. Grenades, completely reworked, folks. You cannot hook them anymore. If you guys are a Counter-Strike player, they work exactly like that. You take it out, you hold it in your hand, it's not going to do anything until you toss it, and if it bounces off of something, Carter, the timer gets lower, and the fuse will obviously allow that thing to pop a little bit faster. So, with that in mind, we will jump into the first round here on a Kids Dorms defense for DPlus.
We could very well see the impact of that frag grenade change on Dorms. One huge strategy almost every single team did. It was the standard by a wide margin was to take control of Kitchen and nade from below in Dorms. And what do you see? There's not a single grenade on FaZe's line. Mate, you could replicate something similar with the impact lifelines, but obviously at much lower rates of success and damage. So already, this site in particular will likely see a lot of strategic changes from FaZe, what almost every team in the world did when they were attacking Dorms just 3 months ago. The defensive side, we do have one lurker all the way down in the basement. With how astute FaZe are at identifying weak points in their lineup, there are 2 different players they could focus on. Wookieeman down below in basement and Coded in Big Tower, and based on the 2 players on Repel, it's pretty obvious which one they want to go for.
Get the drone in there, so they'll be able to at least identify Coded playing in T3 here. Another flash out. They know that it's a Warden, though, so they're more than likely not going to challenge this too aggressively just yet. You have the Mav on the opposite window here. He's trying to do their due diligence on this,
Nice.
but Cyber extends his hand a little bit too far, and he'll get eaten up. Handy, not able to get the refrag, but he's going to try and swing in here. Souls has got one. That's going to be Coded on that top floor. He found him from a separate angle. Very nicely done, and now that's going to force Wookieeman to work his way back downstairs.
And just as the lifelines, you could also use the skeleton key to go below, take control of Kitchen, and fuck open the floor of Dorms to apply pressure to that position. But now with Cyber gone, not as viable a strategy. But the damage Coded could have been a lot greater. With how long he was stalling time and burning that secondary utility, FaZe could have easily got caught up for 30 more seconds if they weren't able to get that trade. But now they have added control. While half the round is gone, they can start using that Maverick Torch and start using those Selmas to achieve some hard breaching. Taking a lot of time, though. Oregon is a slow map. FaZe are almost entirely still outside of the building. And DPlus Key are still trying to contest that control. Gas inside a garage. Here's that Zofia running to his right. Still focused on the angle towards construction. Not getting too aggressive just yet. Out the Specchio to find anybody on that drone, and as Souls pushes in, is Yas ready for this gunfight? Will he even see it? Will he have a chance to counter it? Yes, he will. No intel for Souls as he moves into the front door, and DPlus Kia, they've got an advantage.
This pacing out of DPlus is incredible right now, especially with their ability to maintain some of these really difficult areas of the map, like Garage. You don't really expect somebody to be allowed to play around or even really exist in that area the time that he did, but FaZe just not having the drone matrix up and active. Not really knowing what the heck is going on, but now Handy be able to swing on through, find one of his own, and back and forth we go in between these two. It's going to be a 2 versus 2 here as Handy's going to try and force things over towards top white. He knows he has to try and cover this planter. Has one at least, but it's going to be the flank here. A nice find from Yaz. Rocking a hard place for Handy. He's going to try and work his way through the laser gate. Saw the butt end of Solus, but Yaz will finally get gunned down. 4 seconds remain. A nitro cell for Woogie. Woogie's going to try and plant this. Or rather, Handy. Woogie! Oh my. I think he's got it on time.
No, he's fine.
That was very worrisome for a split second there, but shout out to DPlus as they'll be able to get their first round. Hey, yeah, first game on LAN at SI. Just breathe.
And they still won the round.
Just breathe.
Still run the round. But on the note of first game jitters, by the time those final exchanges happened between FaZe Clan and DPlus Kia, FaZe were out of drones. Completely out of drones. Not a single one remaining. Maybe a Twitch drone somewhere, but no actual regular drones remaining. That is noticeably poor start for a team that is often very, very smart with their map control and acquiring it, finding it, taking it. Very difficult beginning, and there, as you see, right as Souls is moving on in, only 1 or 2 drones left.
Yep.
Gotta see that fixed if FaZe want to have any success on Oregon attack.
It's just really hard for them right there, man. Like, they try and drone things out on that top floor there. Coda gets a couple of drones for his own pleasure in T3. But then the rest of the story is just going to be the Solus. We didn't obviously get to just see her run around and shoot drones, but that's her whole prerogative, right? Like, so able to really put a damper on what FaZe wanted to do there. It made it to where they kind of had to go soul searching, kind of lost in the dark, touching around, trying to figure out where the heck they are. And I mean, Handy did his due diligence. He got a lot done there, but it's not really set up in the way that is going to be success for them, unfortunately enough. Especially with that flank coming through for DPlus Kia. Really appreciate them just keeping things active around the map up against FaZe, especially as that drone count gets lower and lower.
Of course, they're going to basement, though, and the ability to roam on this site is a little bit reduced in comparison to a lot of the other ones. You might see players move up back tower stairs. We see, I believe, the Goyo and the Jaeger holding those positions right now. There's somebody all the way at front door or main stairs as well, but they're all in positions where they can start falling back. But Woogieman is pushing a little farther, though. Moving upstairs, provide a separate angle while his teammate on the bottom. If anybody moves into that middle floor, they can try and collapse from 2 different positions. Also acquire sound cues on that top T3 as well.
Reloading, cover me!
A lot slower on the action this time. That might change, though, actually, as if you notice, one FaZe player already inside of meeting. Drone spots Damali on the big tower stairs. Oh, sniped by Woogieman. Benefit. The Jaeger baits the drones, baits the intel gathered from FaZe, and they don't know Woogieman is on that top floor.
And no idea. Getting rid of all of those drones. That's an ISO'd player over there on the stairwell, but all in good timing for DPlus. Great communication there. And that's what you need up against a team like FaZe. Look now, they have to respect this area and use this to fullest of their abilities. There's these 4 drones left now. Carter again just rearing its ugly head. No Solus around to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt for that. So DPlus Kia should just rest on their morals here. There should not be too much going on. They really want to try and force FaZe into this execute and abuse them as they try and enter this site.
Because FaZe have also picked that Monty, that's one gun you really don't have on the board. So in terms of actual active gunfights, DPlus Kia might feasibly take. It's really a 5v3 in some ways. If you see Vidaking, odds are there's going to be somebody by him, protecting him, allowing him to push on in, and covering him in case anybody swings him. So if you're able to win a fight with that player, DPlus Kia might actually have quite large margins once this execute comes through. FaZe also have the unlucky position of deciding how to push this basement site down a man. Do they go down blue and laundry stairs? It seems they're aiming for the backside instead. Send Vidaking down, distract the attention, but DPlus Kia is so aggressive so far. Before it was Yas inside a garage, holding aggressively. Now put it on a shield right on the doorway, and might very well win that fight with Monty's support.
I'm loving this setup here from DPlus Kia. Very intelligent. Move themselves forward here, force them to try and take this area. It's working out for him so far. Lucky shots there. He just tags the shoulder of the player inside of construction. Damali does have the Monty right in front of him. Is the other player going to try and come and assist? I don't believe so. Handy's worried about this push in from the swing elbow. And damn right, going to get gunned down here. Unfortunately, the Monty's going to have to try and get active as well. With 5 seconds remaining, FaZe do have an opportunity. But yes! He gets gunned down by Vidaking! Literally with 0.2 seconds remaining, Vidaking active at the right time with Monty, and he'll get FaZe around that definitely did not look like theirs 30 seconds ago.
Oh, that is an immensely clutch bailout from Vidaking right there. Because his coverage inside of bunker, the guy actually holding the walk up from elbow, looks at the Monty right as somebody swings bunker doorway and ends up falling. Now the Monty has got to finish off the Jaeger, turn around, take that gunfight, which he is not favored to win because it's a Monty with a pistol. And the rest of the team is flooding in from blue, trying to flood in wherever they can, and all Yas has to do is really win that fight with the Monty, at least you think, but FaZe still, with such low time left, are swinging him as close together as they can. Somebody from the long hallway. 0.25 seconds later, Vidaking swings. And if he dies, as we just saw in the kill cam, the IQ is about to swing at the exact same time as well. While that was definitely a huge heads-up play from Vidaking, look at how quickly FaZe coordinated and figured out that, all right, we only have so little time left, we can still coordinate, play those trades, and work it to our advantage.
Yeah, I think the big thing about that for me was just their ability to cover all of their bases. You know, I mean, like Monty's pushing forward, he gets all of that presence over towards the boiler door. But then you also have Handy on the back end, just not getting too aggressive, making sure that he's covering that flank there for elbow, and it all works out so gracefully for them, making it to where that clutch moment was something that was in the realm of possibility, and obviously they were able to reach out and take it. Now 1-1 here, but DPlus Kia are now aware that they are capable of taking rounds off of FaZe. They can give them a hard time.
Should be 2-0 right now, in all honesty, if
Yeah,
Vidaking
you're
doesn't
right.
go huge. DPlus Kia could very well have a lead, but they decided to go all the way to the middle floor. Don't try and repeat the basement bomb site, which I think they very well could have. Found so much success in that early and mid-round, but instead they moved to meeting hall and kitchen, which, don't get me wrong, it might be one of the air quotes worst sites on Oregon, but it still can be very good if you're able to hold that upstairs control, or able to stall out the attack behind the meeting wall. Already, DPlus Kia doing some damage to the drone economy from FaZe and Coded on back tower stairs. If he's able to survive here for maybe the next middle minute of the round, could be a huge problem.
Dope call still persists. Nobody reaching for their phone. Silence around the map as of right now. Sai just waiting for somebody to try and cross kitchen hall. You can see how FaZe has one set up across the map and hold these separate angles so that DPlus cannot consistently rotate through without getting punished. Handy over here on the tower side as well. Great patience game here from FaZe. This is always the difficult part. Don't want to get too antsy, too aggressive at the wrong time. ADS though, able to find something here. This is a good shout here, Carter. I like the transition towards the basement in this position. Never know if they're going to have something down here like a nitro cell or something along those lines. Obviously, guys, we're cheating. We get to see through walls, so we know no one's here. But ADS is still going to do his due diligence and goes searching downstairs.
Here's the Dokkaebi call, but Giveaway's position isn't able to get the kill on either attempt. If you notice, Vidaking has been over by the split walls the entire time. It seemed to be they were gunning for a front side take, which evades all the Dorm's position. And now with him gone, KDS walks up Freezer stairs, achieves a man advantage for FaZe. 4v3, make that a 4v2, as Cyber also strikes over by the green hall. Souls has now made his way in, recovered the diffuser, and with Cyber inside his sight, he can watch the hatch. The only part they need to worry about is kitchen and the split doorway. They've got the man count to watch both. Will they be looking? Taking down Yaz. All they have to do is watch that breach, and there's Cyber on the cutoff. 2-1 now for FaZe, and if basement was a rough go, once they found their opportunity, even with losing Vidaking, were still able to win it dominantly, and probably the first official win, true win, through and through for FaZe.
Do we use the buzzword because they played like 4 separate windows? Do we do it? Split theory!
No, stop!
Oh.
No! Not allowed. We're American. We don't know what that is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I can't even read.
I can't even count.
No, it's just I just try to vibe check all the letters.
You actually, I don't know how you've done this, but you stole what I was going to say directly out of my brain.
Really?
Yes. Yes, you did. So I'm just going to sit here and move on because Carter stole my joke. So anyways.
My bad.
No, dude, it's good. It's good. I
Back to
had
dorm
I had the vibe check on you, and you passed. So it's all right. You can stay here. You can stay here. Plus, like, I have to work with Parker later on, and I'm really dreading that. So the longer I get to work with you, Carter, much better day for me. So
Parker, over on the DK stream.
10 seconds to go.
oh yeah, they are casting that, aren't they? Indeed. Actually, a pretty interesting game over there. But speaking of interesting things, let's stay on topic here. FaZe looking very solid in that last round, especially with their ability to set themselves up, make those rotations difficult for DPlus Kia, as well as keep that active player down low to try and just, you know, throw that little wrench into the plan of DPlus.
This is also the only round they won. The only round they've won so far. But Basement will always have an asterisk. Right there.
That's true.
I like this adaptation. Handy moving to the Amaru. We'll see how aggressively he decides to fight Coded, who is working the same position.
I want him to fly in that window so bad. It's everything I want in my life.
It's always a nice, pleasant reminder whenever he flies in the window and kicks someone in the face and they die. It's like, oh, I forgot that's an interaction. Could happen. But I don't think FaZe are really focused on it at all. Whether they know Coded's there or not, they're already over by Dorm's double window. They might just be sending this in quick. Flashbangs going on in. They've opened up the Dorm's wall to allow a hole. Somebody to cover Cyber as he pushes on it. Needs to win that fight, but there's a C4 from below. Great heads-up play by Wookie Man, and Handy instead flies into Dorms, and that is what solidifies the advantage for FaZe. He now has control over the pit position, and down goes Coded on the retreat from T3. DPlus Kia now only have one player inside of the site, and he has been spotted by KDS. He's now hopped in the Dorms window. He's pinned down by two players, one in Dorms, one on White Stairs. Maybe even from a third position we don't even know about. Yaz on the flank will find one. He moves further up. Soldier wins a key gunfight, but now they can fully focus on Yas on the backside. The shotgun close to the Solus. One kill finished off, a 3K for Handy, but he can easily cover either the bedroom wall, which is reinforced. So all he needs to do is hold this doorway, and there is nothing Yas can do. No time to rotate, barely even any a chance on winning the gunfight. As long as Handy's focused, as long as he keeps watching, one shot is all he needs to secure FaZe's third round against DPlus Kia. He's moved back all the way to the pit position, still effectively holding the same angle. Sam with KDS on the diffuser as well. He's just not winning. Oh! Hold up! Hey, something is not right here. He spotted the Claymore on the diffuser. That could have sent it in the favor of FaZe, but he needs to win this fight. He's only got 4 seconds to do it. KDS needs to make a mistake. This is such an impossible position, such an easy angle to hold for FaZe. They move up 3-1 off of it.
Yeah, post-plant was stellar right there, but, I mean, we definitely have to highlight Handy on that, obviously. I don't think it was the window cutter. I think he came up the kitchen hatch. The hatch was completely open. Yes, yeah, the hatch was completely open, and I love the setup that they have there as well. He's rocking the shotgun with the SMG-11 secondary. That's really, really smart for some place like Kids Dorms, because it's just so tight inside of that area. Like, you want to be able to work around those little dorms beds and just deal with a contention very, very quickly. So, really smart, shout here from FaZe to be able to kind of put that in the back pocket and use it to its fullest advantage there in round 4.
Handy 8-2 so far. Huge player on this attacking side. This is the crazy thing about FaZe. Really, when you think about it, Cyber is the traditional fragger, right? He is the guy you think of when all the way back on his previous teams, back in Brazil, like, all right, he's getting huge kills. But this is in no small part a team of support. Souls, Handy, King. These are players with supportive backgrounds and tendencies, but they're just so damn good. Handy can pick Amaru, fly in through either the hatch or the window in Dorms. He's 8-2 so far, 3K in the previous round, and single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, but the big reason why FaZe were able to open up that previous round. And now DPlus Kia, who had success on Dorms in that first round, drop it the second time, move back down to basement, where it was close, and in all honesty, probably should have won it without that huge heads-up play from King. Now, that previous success they've had, that initial great start to the game, is moving further and further in the rearview mirror.
Oh, yes. Please don't stick around here too long. Oh. Carter, this man is so lucky. It's just, I sweat bullets every single time I see somebody approach small tower like that because of that window.
It's honestly, as a viewer, it's one of the most, like, heart-pounding rotations to watch someone make. They gotta walk, like, 8 doors, 3 windows, a stairwell. It's like, surely he's not making it out. And honestly, a lot of the time they do.
Yeah.
This cut off too. If you get somebody on second floor quickly and they're able to open up the angle on freezer stairs, a lot of things that could go wrong. But for DPlus Kia, thankfully, nothing did. Not even a single bit of HP lost on that roam, and they've already moved back while still maintaining some options to get aggressive on the backside.
Yeah, we just got a little bit of PTSD from that. That's all it is. Happened to me too many times in my day. So. This basement defense, though, looking stellar so far for DPlus Kia. They've been able to waste some time here and phase the top floor access in about 1:40. KDS, though, he's going to make me eat my words as he's already moved his way down into freezer. That impact flies by him. I don't know if they're aware of him being in this location. A swing through. He's got the Inox on. He has it on. Soul saw him through the freaking wall. That's insane. Yaz with a beautiful kill there. And again, just one of those interactions that you can only find in Siege.
And another man advantage for DPlus. Yeah, doing a solid job of that so far. This aggression overall, if FaZe were able to get a very quick inroad into the site, it might falter. But on basement, both times, they've been able to maintain that aggression very well throughout the early round. And stall FaZe for quite a long time. Before, it was a Monty push through bunker that DPlus Kia kept down to the wire. Here, it's instead a front side and a blue push, and one that FaZe, time gets lower, has to do at a man disadvantage, but they've been able to recover quite a few times. Lose that opening kick, and then somebody gets a kill, and FaZe are able to get a second and make it a 4v3. It's happened last round with Handy. Now it's Cyber who moves into the 4v4.
That's a great find there from Cyber. They know exactly where the Legion of Boogeyman is now, but he's going to try and spray and get back across through the rotation. He'll be successful in that, as Kodas will take down Handy over the laundry side of things. Be the King, the only one in this area now, as he's going to try and assist with clearing out a few of these members, attempting to find a place for Souls to place down this case. Be the King, incapable of much as of right now. It's going to be Koda with what I believe is a single shot. He'll take out Cyber. Souls will take him down, though. Succession, these two. Be King trying to do his due diligence, trying to work forward here, but nothing to find, nothing to do. As DPlus Kia stands stalwart in the basement. Good info getting worked in there as well from the bulletproof camera. DPlus maintain this lead.
And if they were able to close out that basement round, they'd be in the full lead right now. It'd be 3-2 if they were able to win that previous basement defense. And sure,
my brain literally fried because I actually thought they won that. Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, FaZe with the dub.
But that's how,
So.
I mean, that's how close they were in that previous basement round. If one small thing goes their way, they have the lead right now. And this is against a team as well-renowned as FaZe. Probably one of the better showings DPlus Kia have had. Though, to be fair, in Atlanta, they stomped Los in their game on Consulate to start out Phase 2. So they've had good performances. They've had even dominant performances this year so far. But against an opponent like FaZe, we're predicting a lot for them. We weren't predicting a lot for Los in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was a huge shot the run they made. But if they're able to end this half 3-3 here and then maybe start out well on their attacks, DPlus Kia have shown an ability to win good fights against FaZe, but also keep up aggression that keeps FaZe on their toes for the vast majority of the first minute and a half to 2 minutes.
10 seconds.
DPlus Kia can just do that one more time and get a 3-3. I wouldn't call this half a win. I certainly wouldn't call it a loss.
I agree with you on that. You know, I like to think that DPlus Kia is the reason that Los went so deep in there in Atlanta. I think they were the awakening game. Yes, you know, before Los, they weren't playing with their heart, Carter. And after that game, there's nothing but soulful from them. We'll see if something similar can happen here for FaZe. Maybe DPlus Kia is just that team. You gotta fight DPlus Kia if you want to make the finals.
Maybe, and maybe if FaZe lose here, it's actually an omen they'll make the grand finals by the end.
Then DPlus Kia makes the finals. That's what happens. Yeah. This is actually semis right here.
Gotcha. Oh,
yeah.
That's crazy. Starting off
Watch this actually be a semis series.
Starting off with a bang.
I mean, called on the first day.
Technically a semi-series from 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
But at least right now, stakes very low in the first 45 seconds. ADS, with that Amaru, was looking, I believe, to move into dorms and acquire that control alongside the rest of his team. Yes, still is. Tried to move into that top floor, Handy, but everybody. Finally, they do alongside the Boogie, covering the sound cue and opening up some well-deserved soft destruction on the floor of dorms. So a good start for FaZe to acquire this control, and likely now looking to end up in kitchen by the end of the round. Whereas before they were gunning for split, now more towards the kitchen dining side. Cyber on the cutoff angle picks up Yas early on. DPlus Kia not able to net that early aggression, but so far has had decently good success.
Those Rams are so loud.
They're very loud.
They're so loud. Can't even hear myself think whenever those things are on, I'm telling you. That's a nice find there, though. And again, so we were talking about that earlier. That's why I have that PTSD, Carter. Those windows, they're terrifying. Oh, Cyber getting away with quite a bit here. Earlier kill on Yas to start things off on the cross angle, but he's worked his way into the building now. Damali, this one on the docket. And Damali, new pickup for DPlus. Not exactly starting off the way that he would want.
Now, 0-5 so far, and also effectively a 5v1 on the 5v1 on the site. One player over in Big Tower, one on Freezer Stairs. He might get the flank off. Woogieman here's one move up Z. Spots Cyber, now has to fall back as two different players try to take it down on the Freezer Stairs. The King knows he likely has room to get the bomb down. They need to worry about Soldier, and they find him easily. Woogieman might get one kill, but FaZe are perfectly willing to accept that loss. Cyber put in the work, getting a 3K to open up the entirety of this execute. And once they pick up the mute upstairs, they know Woogieman is off the site. They just have to cut off one of the 3 stairwells he can walk back up. And that's a 4-2 half for FaZe.
Yes, indeed. Had him locked up from the start as soon as he decided that he was going to try and play things down that stairwell. Not really too much you can do in a situation like that. Very well done from FaZe, but as you said, it was really the Cyber show right there. And, I mean, you know, always got to give a shout out to this as well. Using the F2. We've been seeing so much 417 over the last year and some change, ever since that change happened to the F2 where it doesn't have grips anymore.
Hey, remember in Atlanta, who was using that F2?
Mm-hmm.
Loban. The demon himself.
Oh, yeah,
the
true.
Lobanmeister. Running the F2 against FaZe, against DZ. And doing great work with it. Cyber, of course, doing great work in that round with that 3K, but also acquiring an unequivocal lead on their attacking half as they move into the side swap. Now getting the benefit of the defensive side. No Tuberous so far this matchup, not a single Zoto canister thrown, but a lot of the usual suspects. Solus, especially, and Valkyrie a few times from DPlus Kia. I have to imagine with Cyber wielding that P90 and that Spectre scanner. DPlus Kia were getting aggressive and trying to deal damage to FaZe's drone count. Cyber's got to be doing that and then some, especially with Valkyrie cameras to aid him on this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cyber's not rocking the P90 either. He's rocking the Shoddy. I love it.
I like that. ITA-12L. Yeah, I know that. I know y'all didn't think I did, but I do.
It's an Italian shotgun, I'm pretty sure.
Actually, Spanish was... Is it? Well, it was introduced with Velvet Shell. I'm assuming it's Spanish.
Yeah. You believe so. I think if I remember right, I'm probably wrong about this, by the way, before I say this, but I want to say it's based off of a Benelli shotgun. I want to say. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Yo, I'm no doctor, but... Inside. See what you got here, playing in from Trophy.
Sensor on.
Let's be able to get that initial drone. Know somebody's in the area on that balcony, but doesn't want to overextend here. An early kill, especially with only 45 seconds being off the board. There's a lot more to happen inside of this round, and definitely do not want to make it easy for DPlus Kia at the end of the day. DPlus Kia trying to address things across the map as well, while Coded's up there trying to just occupy that balcony and hold that cross. They're actually working their way in from Cafe.
It's extremely separated right now, but I was about to say, while a lot of players from DPlus Kia holding their own 1v1s, Coded Damali, he's able to cut off Cyber's rotation back down through Kitchen at the opening pick and destroy the Solus. So the looming threat to your drone count taken off the board. There are still roamers who could fill a similar role. KDS and Handy both in meeting, but all consolidating right around that hatch. KDS especially looking to probably retreat within the next 20 seconds or so, though Handy could end up lurking, ratting out behind that bench, wasting just a little bit more time. DPlus Kia now slowly moving in. Handy 2 drops down, knows that with half the round gone, DPlus Kia are still bucking open the attic hatch. It's probably going to be another 20 seconds before they actually make their way down to the first floor. There's no need to overextend your hand, no need to actively contest that map control. I mean, they don't know this, but we do soldiers still outside the building, opening up the laundry hatch to be sure, but despite the low time, DPlus Kia haven't accomplished a whole lot and still have a long ways to go if they want to mount a fighting chance at winning this.
Absolutely the case. Yeah, you have the kill onto Cyber, but you don't have everything that's pivotal. Trying to get a bomb down here for your offensive unit. Now Soldier able to clear out that mirror window. They've got some drones being active around the area too. Nitro Cell tear. KDS. And let's see if you can find anything. And it was a good shout. It was. Tossed it over towards the sandbags there, but unable to land successfully.
I got Handy holding the bunker angle on this doorway. Flashes go in, though. Soldier quickly crosses that very position. Spots KDS looking the wrong way. Huge entry from the Hibana. Vidaking's able to shut it down. That was a much-needed opening for DPlus Kia. In the end of round 7, Damali able to find one, but it's still even. Handy, Vidaking both holding on to their positions. Damali finally showing up in a big way in round 7, but they've not found Handy. They haven't got the bomb down, and it's Yas by himself on the coverage. Watching this position, he knows he's here now. C4 goes wide, and he needs to win this fight and only tags up Yas a little bit. Damali's fallen off. That's a gun left alive, and a key round for DPlus Kia, picking up their first round on the attack.
Way to open the door to sight there for Damwon. It was a little worrisome there for just a split second. DPlus able to lock things up. We're able to find those good picks over there, especially towards elbow, getting the drones in there, seeing where the setup was for FaZe. And I especially enjoyed the fact that I do believe Yas in that situation was so aggro over towards Freezer. There was not much time there, and a decision had to be made. He just made the right one. Yas with a good moment here as well, making sure that there's not really any comeback opportunity. Especially with that case getting placed over in laundry. You can see the cogs turning for DPlus, not trying to force anything in a situation that could get them into some trouble, just playing very good, clean season at the moment.
There's a decisiveness, especially. A lot of times at these events, they've looked exciting, they've cheered after rounds, but there's always seemed to be a little hint of maybe nervousness or resignation, but there hasn't been that passion, that fire we see from teams like FaZe or like others in the tournament.
10 seconds left.
Always seems like they're a little bit down, even when they're getting excited. But here in terms of their play, Soldier making that cross, not a fear at all that he was going to die to that player from Bunker. Not worried whatsoever. Yas and Freezer that round as well. Able to pick up a win on basement by the end of it. And especially with the frag grenade changes, if you're going into an E-box drop and a Bunker push with 30 seconds left, a lot of teams relied on either Yin Candelas, which weren't in play, or frag grenades. Get a kill when they couldn't just from either or couldn't reasonably predict one from just walking in a doorway. Without that option, they needed to just win heads-up gunfights. DPlus Kia, of course, won them, but did so in saying, all right, we need to do this. I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to go for it and try make the best of it. Back to basement, as FaZe will replay this bomb site. Cyber not on the Solus or extending all the way to that top floor. He is in Z. He's the furthest one, but there's somebody on Freezer and somebody on main stairs. Cover whichever pathway back he decides to take.
Micro roam there for FaZe. Show a little face. See if you can get a drone to spot you or something like that. Maybe DPlus wants to try and clear things out across the entirety of these top floors now. We did more than likely see him inside of Z. Just got to make sure to cover everything and not have something bite you in the butt later on down the line. But for FaZe, they draw back much earlier than what we saw in the previous round where they had that full-blown roam going on. This time, everything well within the right from DPlus to be taken and used to its fullest advantage. Push drone in, able to get something at least. Impact out. It's going to do very minimal damage to Woogie. So he's just going to be a distracting factor as of right now over here on the construction side of things.
FaZe are completely pulled back from the previous round. We see that same aggressive shield, though, positioned towards the bunker doorway. So while they aren't as posturing as they were before, they aren't so pushed forward into the building. When it comes to the site, they are still making sure that they are denying as much ground for DPlus Kia as they can within the bounds of their strategy. This X-Kairos pellet or on this wall can always be difficult to maneuver around for the defense. You want to help your teammate in bunker, in elbow, and make sure nobody pushes in from that doorway, but if there was a little bit of X-Kairos that Soldier had left, it'll be a bit more of a problem to move through there. He-Man also with the Monty can constantly apply pressure, but these Vulcan packs in the way, alongside the deployable shield, will make it much more difficult. Toxic Babes too, he's got to make a decision. At this point, he might just have to push through the fire, push through the smoke. DPlus Kia still have the entire defensive setup to barrel through.
I don't even know if that's a possibility for Woogie. It feels like the smoke stacked on top of the fire will practically instantly kill him, Carter. The smoke's going to try and hold him back here, and Damali's going to end up taking down a teammate. Can't find the kill he was so desperately looking for behind Pillar. And now it's just Woogie, still being gate-kept by utility on construction. At least get one for his troubles, but you can see how this is going to go. It's going to go down pretty quickly as well. Woogie tries to get the pistol back out. He tries to get some extra kills, but nobody can kill anybody here. But it doesn't really need to, at least for FaZe's sake, as they are on the defensive side of things, and they will get the round because of that. So, very well done for FaZe there. We're going to quickly move our way into round 9. As DPlus Kia, we can really just chalk that one up to a failure to launch. FaZe not really doing too much on those top floors. DPlus Kia, they have all the time in the world to be able to set things up and then try for the execution. FaZe just battered them in the execution.
And it was a good read, too. They realized, okay, we gave them some hatches completely open. The meeting hatch was open, and they still only executed with 30 seconds left. Now, the big benefit they had was they got the opening kill on Cyber, like a minute and a half prior, 1 minute into the round. If we just pull back and use utility, odds are, even if they're not executing at 30 seconds, they're going to be executing at 45 seconds. And if we just keep that utility, bring those Vulcan packs, bring those smoke canisters, we can stall it out and gain far more than the denial of map control we attempted in round 7. So a good read, not only in theory, but also from factors they saw from DPlus Kia in the previous round, and with one round in between, immediately switched philosophies and saw great success with it. Many great teams do that, but FaZe do it so well on attack or defense. To see them do it here, game 1, maybe a little rust in rounds 1 and 2, but as they've gotten warmed up, it's just a classic FaZe performance, so far at least.
They're so incredibly consistent, man. The last 4 years of FaZe Clan have been so interesting to be a part of and get to witness. Especially when it comes to things like this. Their ability to just flip the script on a dime. Not having to sweat all the details. They know everybody on the squad is so very stellar. Has the ability to make those pacing changes, those strategical changes on the fly. They can all fall in line accordingly. That's something that you desperately need on a team in Rainbow Six Siege. You do not want to be a one-trick pony. We see a lot of people get in trouble with that.
Certainly can't make that comparison to FaZe. Absolutely cannot. DPlus Kia, as we move into the dorms bomb site, very focused on the front side. Some over by Armory, some by Bedroom, and of course somebody below, but nobody on that backside as of yet. They will take control after the first minute. Without a whole lot of hard breach. I believe only 2 hard breach charges, actually. No, 4, excuse me.
I was waiting. I was going to let you figure it out.
To be fair, though, Yas is all the way in the basement.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was clever.
The first of many terrible dad jokes throughout the event.
We got 2 weeks.
You guys are stuck.
you guys are in for a good time. They open up the bedroom wall, half the round now gone, so one of those 4 hard breach charges going to good use. But similar to basement, FaZe's setup has not really been pressured so far. There are options DPlus Kia can use in the future, but it has been a profoundly quiet start to round 9.
FaZe has found what they need to do up against DPlus Kia, and it's delay. They just need to sit on site, allow them to eat themselves alive on this clock, because as you can clearly see from all of these separate angles, they're really worried about things. What's going on here, Carter?
Yes, he is. Hashtag SI2024 on the play.
I did not see that. Thank you for pointing
Queen.
that out. Yes, Queen, yes. We'll hit that if he ever clutches.
The yassification of DPlus Kia. Cyber hitting the flank inside of Split, but Woogieman knows. Is aware of his position, and they've got the pinch, but Cyber doesn't need to get a kill here. He just needs to waste 10 of the remaining 30 seconds, and he doesn't look! Woogieman somehow turns around in time, but it's a 3v3, and the HP actually favors FaZe. Woogieman lost almost all of his HP in that engagement. FaZe need to hold on. Handy holding the bedroom doorway aggressively. A crossfire set up between him and KDS. This should be round 9, Sam. All Handy has to do is take out this player, and this position is secured. But Yas finds one. Woogieman now falls. He was easy. The rest is more difficult. Yas down 2. Coded found his way into the bomb site, but Diffuser a world away. And same as his chances for taking that round. Map point now for FaZe, 6-3.
And the heartbeat of this strategy over these last couple of rounds has worked so very well for FaZe, Carter. Playing things a little bit closer towards sight, using that solid utility to be able to delay things out and force DPlus Kia into bad timing. That timer is constantly eating at them. Even with that flank there from Cyber that went so terribly wrong for him somehow, some way. But just in that vacuum alone, Carter, there was so many things that just tilted me, especially the fact that Buck just ran out of classroom and they knew the guy was in split the whole time. He doesn't even look to his right. Woogie doesn't even look. He has to 180 to kill Cyber. He could have killed Cyber when he peeked the damn door.
Now, hold on.
Craziness.
Let's be optimistic here. Let's be positive.
I'm breathing.
He did get the kill.
He did. But it was not because of what he did. It's because of what Cyber somehow did when he has the MPX. And that gun doesn't even have a recoil. Like, I played Siege like 2 weeks ago to see how all the guns feel again. The MPX has 0 recoil, dog. I'm telling you.
I mean, it does fire garbanzo beans for bullets, but thankfully in a game with one-shot headshot, that doesn't have to affect you all that much. Timeout for DPlus Kia, by the way, if you did not notice.
Yeah, we're just waffling for a second, so.
As they are down 3 rounds. And while we have seen some good points for DPlus Kia on their attacking side, especially in round 7, able to say, all right, we're not accomplishing anything. We're not working. Let's just make a decision and stick to it and end up getting that round. On top of it, we're still seeing them to succumb to a lot of the same trends we saw in Copenhagen and Atlanta. One big example, when they got that win over Los, it was because of a lot of unforced errors from Los. Loban getting aggressive and not having a lot of impact on the roam. DPlus Key are able to say, all right, if one guy's constantly roaming and lurking, if we just find that guy and keep track of him, and of course win the fight, which is sometimes easier said than done, especially against Loban that time, they were still able to consistently get an advantage or account for one in their plans. Whereas with FaZe, after that first round when Cyber got killed, they just completely changed strategies, and whether it was basement or dorms afterwards, they stuck to it, said, all right, we're not going to give you an easy opening pick. We're not going to give you that option at the start. DPlus Kia, while we saw it in round 7, are still struggling to actually create opportunities.
And this is where, and we're going to continue to roll back to this for FaZe throughout the entire event, I promise you. It doesn't matter what commentators you're listening to. FaZe, with their ability to adapt things, they're so solid in circumstances like this because they're still applying the same thought process here with this lineup, Carter, right? But what's the one thing that stands out? It's Cyber on Doc. He's here to just add that extra layer that DPlus isn't going to really consider because these last couple of rounds, it's been so hard for them to even find anybody. And then all of a sudden, you're more than likely just going to have Cyber looking to try and get some frags here on Doc. He could also just be playing things out over in like the shower area or something along those lines, but we'll have to see. It definitely gives that, line of thinking with that Doc getting into the lineup. So, oh, well, there you go. That was an interesting angle. I like that.
It's also such a team performance in FaZe right now. Sure, Cyber's 7 and 8, but everyone is basically within arm's reach of each other. KDS the lowest kills, but still positive. Whereas with DPlus Kia, you have Yas having a solid game, Woogieman certainly having a solid game, but a lot of the times it might be 2 players going huge and 3 players trailing behind. It could be Yas and Coded, could be Woogieman and Yas, could be a couple different players, but being consistent. Always been, at least individually, DPlus Kia's problem. Coded put to almost 1 HP, trying to take control of Master Bedroom. He has moved in, but there's still 2 players around the corner who can take this fight. KDS spots one, but he loses it. Aims head level, but just a little too far to the left. For DPlus Kia, they found an unforced error. They've capitalized off of it. Now they just need to progress from here.
You have souls in the area still. DPlus trying to use these drones and discover where FaZe is going to try and play this out from. Finally identified souls here inside of pit. No, that wall's broken up here. He's going to go for the gunfight of all things. Coded. He was so weak as well. It doesn't really feel like that's the way that things should have went down, but it is. And they're going to give Souls another one, Carter. Everything is falling off the wagon. Souls, my God. Execution after execution. Coded's going to get picked back up, but I mean, what a heavy hand Souls has right now as he's knocking out all of DPlus Kia.
2 players on reduced HP for DPlus Kia as well. Souls was hitting headshots, but just a couple shots to the body on Damali or Coded could make it a 1v3 for Woogieman to save Oregon. And this was a 5v3 at one point. DPlus Kia were finding those individual 1v1s, and they're letting FaZe take whatever position they want. No contention from FaZe in round 10. They barely even fight DPlus Kia. They're just holding angles, holding their positions, and without any bit of intel or with a little too low confidence, take gunfights that they don't have enough information on, give away a 5v3 to FaZe. Of course, that is only map 1. Still have map number 2. But man, that could have been a lot closer for DPlus Kia. Think to that basement round. Think to that round we just saw. Maybe they don't win it, but this could have been a 7-5 if a lot of those leads weren't thrown away.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you, my friend. And that's the thing, is that FaZe looking so solid in these moments and able to use that patience and that cadence on the defense of Oregon to really take it to DPlus Kia. And that's really where things started to get to, exposed, right? DPlus Kia not really capable of taking control of things the way that they wanted to on that offense.
And of course, a good performance from FaZe, no doubt about it, is their map pick as well. So if there's any place we hope DPlus Kia could show up, it will be up next on Clubhouse, a map we're already seeing for a 3rd time this SI so far. Likely going to be with the introduction of Tubarao. A very popular pick, I have to say.
Yes, absolutely. He's pretty chilly, pretty cold, I'd say.
You used cold. I was going to make a joke about that. But
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. But no, I'm super excited to see Tubby, especially on Clubhouse. When they first implemented him and first showed him off to us, I was like, really feels like Club is going to be a nice home for this guy. So we'll have to see. There should be a lot of interesting things going on strategically for this next map, and I'm all for it.
And of course, we need to look at that next map. right after this.
Very specific callouts that you only know if you're like in the scene or like in scrim or something. So even what we say is what players would say.
No, and I mean there's been times where a pro player will come on either as an analyst or as a color commentator, etc., and they'll bring those callouts with them, which to a casual viewer, somebody who's just watching for enjoyment and doesn't actively play the game might think this is odd. Why would you call it that? All the same, Hashem is rewarded for a good previous round by an early death. Dark Zero strikes first. Track Stingers go out with Seriously now governing over Yellow Stingers. He's got Tricks up top with him.
Reload!
I mean, you get top for control, soft destruction towards the bomb site is a good look, but losing Hashem on the Capitol is rather important. Those smokes and fires were crucial previously. And of course, just like the capacity in which Hashem can find kills is very crucial for this team. And GK, they're going to like reevaluate what is going to be the change of pace in this round, because what they wanted to accomplish might no longer be possible the same way any longer. And Dark Zero actually playing proactively, saying yellow stairs is important, try and go for a retake. Solus and Pulse, they can see the flank camps, they can see what the players are. If they can establish a retake here, like they did on Chalet, that could just be the way to win the round.
It's been really triumphant 2 maps so far by Noodle. Down goes Seriously to Bolo, so Yellow Stairs has been the main contest so far for this round. Down goes Knave. Diffuser in the hands of Tricks. I do like that GK has been kind of tossing around that diffuser.
10 seconds left.
Tricks will attempt the plant now. You have no time. He's still holding on to it. He attempted to plant it, dropped it for a second, went on. 2 seconds left in the round, and that's all she wrote. Canadians Nitro Cell gives DZ their second round through 6. First half goes in favor of GK 4-2.
Much better look there for Dark Zero, but this is 1 by 1.
We got this ish.
Yup.
And then, of course, Bolo's yup.
But that is the mentality, especially on attack when you're down. I mean, everyone knows here that realistically, Dark Zero shouldn't win down Consulate, being down 2-4, having a pretty terrible first half on defense in a defender-sided tournament and meta so far. And to make things worse, the Monty's banned by GK. So they obviously came in prepared to not play the Monty themselves. But Dark Zero, if they had planned for it, if they're comfortable playing on that particular operator, that's no longer possible. So 1 round at a time, just like that. The way you think about this as a player is that it's 0-0. It's not 2-4, no. 1 round until someone wins or loses, that's really it. Don't let the nerves get to you when you're close to winning, but also don't start fearing, you know, your opponent or doubting yourself just because you're down a couple of rounds or feel like you're losing and performing pretty poorly. Of course, easier said than done.
10 seconds left.
We all are humans, we do have emotions that affect us, and when you're a player, there are so many factors that go into it. Confidence in yourself and your team is extremely important.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
For a lot of players, it's hard to deal with. You have a slow start to tournament, slow start to match. You start being like, can't really hit my shots, boys. Like, what am I gonna do? And all you can do as a team is say, you got this. Next round is yours. Next map is yours, etc., etc., etc. And don't lose trust. Spawn peaks, early aggression here. GK slowing down Dark Zero, saying, you're slow in Chalet. If you're gonna be equally slow here in Consulate, you might just run out of time.
These first 2 rounds are going to be incredibly important. You cannot allow GK to win this first round. Can't let him to win the second either. I don't see Dark Zero coming back from the 6-2 at that point. Then you just slap the go next button and then you essentially gamble on Nighthaven Labs. But pacing is going to be really important here. How fast can DZ assemble some map control and get into the building?
It's a good question. They use a Grimby, nades, some stingers, all from outside the building. And again, Yellow Stairs might be the focus right now, but first they open windows, they apply this like phantom pressure. We're like a ghost, you know, you don't really know exactly where we are, but we're just like in the wall somewhere. We got yellow pings on the yellow side of the map, so it might be a yellow Skylight CO take here.
Grenade tossed down onto Yellow Stairs. We're seeing frag grenades being used yet again.
Ooh.
Pambazoo looking for more. He's got a shotgun this time. Noodle, I think, managing to take out the bees. Defending this position right now, but he'll get collapsed upon very quickly. Noodle with the first kill, but it's 2 in a row for Dark Zero. As now they assert themselves towards the bomb site, but Bolo's been cut down to size by Trix, who doesn't find a second as it's seriously credited with the kill. Trix punished for that. Dark Zero still with 2 upright to the 2 to match GK, but it's NJR now as the last one standing as the Nitro Cell from Seriously connects. Him and his Shome still remaining. Seriously now tying Noodle for 8 kills to top GK. NJR has some semblance of an idea as to where these players from GK are. He's got 45 seconds. Clock will continue to tick. Get rid of the bulletproof camera, but great patience right now from GK. Tucked away inside of that catering tables area that we mentioned before. NJR squares his body away so he cannot be shot at. But now re-aggressing, trying to get Seriously out of that cubby hole, softening up his Shome. Both players so low, but NJR just looks a hair above. Excellent patience from GK as they win their 5th round and are but 2 away from pushing us to a 3rd map.
It's actually a very, very beautiful 1 versus 2 to watch from both teams. Often it's like messy from one side, but NJR had a perfect read on the exact locations of both of the defenders. Yet GK also had that near perfect crossfire where if one person was in a combat situation, the other member would swing out and kind of equalize it into a 2 versus 1. And it really came down to who's going to hit your shot the best. If NJR hit the Jaeger headshot there, peeled back, could hit the the Warden proning, etc., maybe he wins the round. But if you don't hit those near pixel perfect shots, that crossfire will for sure be your doom as the sole player. And it came down to, again, very, very small things. Look at the sloppiness of Dark Zero. Bolo sprinting into the angle, dying to cover the planter, and then things just kind of fall apart. They didn't get that strong foothold they were looking for where they felt comfortable to make an active plant attempt. But the initial start was good. Hibana shotgun in, yellow staircase, Bolo follows up with a trade 1-for-1. You get that 4v4 near the bomb site that you want as an attacker on Consulate. But if a bomb doesn't go down, you're not having a good time. And that's what GK did so well. Out of 6 rounds, they won 4 of them. In all of those 4 rounds, when they were attacking, they got the opening kill and they got the bomb planted. That is how you find success here. It's not all that often that you just go for broke and go just purely for kills. You typically have bomb site play be a part of Consulate. And it's why we see both teams bring out something like the Ying, the Capital, the Grim, the Gridlock, etc. Because it is about getting to that stable position. DC now will change things and go into like the Brava, the Thatcher, the Capital, the Ying, heavily favoring utility. GK, however, they're pretty aggressive here. Melusi, Fenrir, Solis, Lesion, they can go for swings. They can try and risk 1 or 2 players, and if you kill any of those important operators like the Ying or the Capital, you get an incredible amount of value there for a 1-for-1 trade.
It's been a cakewalk so far for GK through most of this map.
An expected result from map 1, unfortunately, Sam. FaZe taking their map pick 7-3. Oregon, that is. And there were some signs of life from DPlus Kia, actually starting off both halves, defense and attack, taking a round. Aside from that, it was a very, very solid, but expected and traditional performance from FaZe.
Absolutely. Some new flair from DPlus Kia, but the same old FaZe. Consistency, consistency, consistency. As they're able to find the gap in DPlus's game plan, especially from the defensive perspective, as they exploited that timer constantly, using good utility to delay things out, and, just solid placement around the site as well, not overextending for any crazy roams or anything like that, especially after what happened with the basement setup. And they were able to keep their foot on the gas for the remainder of Oregon, securing things in 7-3 fashion.
And for DPlus Kia individually, while FaZe were all pretty much within arm's reach of each other in terms of KD, impact across the board, DPlus Kia, there were 2 standouts, Yas and Woogie Man, all generally at the top of the KD. Soldier, Coded, not putting up great numbers, and unfortunately, Damali, the new pickup, not having the impact I think we wanted. 3 of his kills coming in 1 singular round. I believe ending the game only with 4? I don't exactly remember. I'm pretty sure it was only 4. Either way, most of his kills coming in 1 single round. Not the lack of impact you would hope, or lack of impact, not what you would hope.
Yes.
The new pickup on DPlus Kia.
Definitely lacking impact. I think that's what you were trying to get at, and that's what we're expecting out of a player, like him. So we'll have to see if he can potentially get things fixed up down the line. But as of now, FaZe are in the lead. First map, which was their pick, going their way. But now we head on over to Clubhouse, which if any of you have watched Siege for longer than a year, you will know that Brazil loves this map. So, DPlus, I really don't know why we went here, but I'm really hoping that you got something to prove, got a chip on your shoulder or something, because, I mean, honestly, if we're just talking about it from like universe perspective, you and I are cursed with, Nighthaven Labs. So this is probably somehow, some way going to find its way to a map 3. I don't know how it's going to get there.
It's going to be about a 9-0 for DPlus Kia on Clubhouse. They're going to do 2 extra rounds just to solidify that they're the best Clubhouse team in the world. They're going to go to Nighthaven Labs, where it will actually last 1 week. One singular map of infinite OT. We won't sleep the entire time. It'll be like a dude who ran from like Thermopylae to Marathon.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It'd be like us, and we'll just collapse at the end.
We could just I was gonna say we could just treat it like airplane pilots. You take a shift, I take a shift.
Oh, that's true. We
just don't crash the plane.
Yeah, that's a much better solution. We'll take 8-hour shifts solo casting. Yeah, that'd be so much better.
I mean, what, dude? You never talk to yourself for 8 hours? Just me?
No, I do. People get annoyed at me. They're like, "Why are you standing up and talking to yourself in the meeting?" I'm like, "I'm just thinking. I'm just."
That is true.
No,
that's not a lie. He's not lying.
One quick point, though, we did not see any tuber out on Oregon, which we did see in the SG Wolves game quite extensively, and we saw it quite extensively on Clubhouse. So while we didn't see it on Oregon, I have to think it's either going to be banned here, and if he's not banned, he's going to be picked. I have to imagine, even if it's only in a few rounds, we'll see some bigger presence from tuber on this map than Oregon, given what we saw earlier.
I mean, and for... what am I trying to say here? For good reason. That's what I was trying to say. Oh my gosh. Clubhouse, I mean, it just makes a lot of sense for the utility, right? There's a lot of things you can lock up on this map that are very, very important, especially outward-facing walls, things that actually go to the outside of the building, and that's what Tuberao is going to be amazing at, trying to lock things up like Plat, trying to lock things up like Jacuzzi. In that SSG game, I think we also saw them trying to lock up Garage as well, which is a little interesting.
Well,
but,
it did. Wolves tried to...
It was Wolves who did it.
Bibu used all 3 of his Zoto canisters on the garage wall, and first 2 stopped them, I think. But then the third one didn't. So it didn't work great, but they ended up winning the round. So really, it was the greatest thing to ever happen, ever. No mistakes whatsoever. But no, you can use it for the garage walls, the Jacuzzi wall, the Plat wall. Exterior walls are the name of the game for this operator, and in all likelihood, likely going to be a big focus for DPlus here, starting out on the attacking side on their map pick of Clubhouse. 83% for FaZe Sam. I, unfortunately, don't think that's unjustified. Not even because I'm some DPlus Kia hater, but if we're potentially watching one of the 3 candidates to make the grand finals or even win it, I expect at least 80% for that team.
Honestly, I really thought it was going to be 90 when it popped up.
All right,
really
I'm not that. Let's
listen,
cool down a little bit.
I'm just being honest, okay? I'm just being honest. You can't hate on that. FaZe, it's for the same reasons that you said. I get it. That is quite a large percentage, but I mean, it is DPlus Kia at the end of the day. I mean, the very last event that they played, they did not look very good at all. Now, they're looking a lot better here today, I will say that. There is definitely some, lifeblood here, as well as a Tuberao band coming out, so we won't be seeing Tuberao today, for you and I, at least so far.
This was at least included in my definition of seeing him, is that he will either be banned or picked pretty consistently, and I think on Clubhouse, it might be one of, if not the map for him in this pool. So seeing him either banned or picked, in this case the former, not really surprising to me, but we will still have a lot of the, just one more defender on top of a pool of really strong ones at this point in the meta. Solus, Azami, Valkyrie still up.
Yeah.
A lot of different options the defense has. Though, with that mirror taken off the board, we have seen a huge resurgence of placing a mirror window on the plat wall, opening up and then impact tricking outside is one of the main ways for denying that breach. With that mirror gone, this might actually be close to more standard Clubhouse than we've seen previously.
It's going to make me happy because I'm an old head, so...
That's true.
Yeah. I have to say that now. I'm 27. Can't believe that. Even when I say it, I'm just like, am I really?
Too.
Ugh.
Me too. Yeah.
What do you mean? You're like, what are you, 21, 22? Yes?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't count.
Hey, get married, then talk to me, kid, all right?
All right. I'm going at my own pace.
I'm going at my own
pace. Are you my grandmother? I'm just kidding. My grandma's a lovely woman. She's not pressuring me to marry.
That's good, at least.
out.
10 seconds to go.
Anyway,
Wow.
moving
Clubhouse.
into Clubhouse.
Indeed.
Moving in with, surprisingly, I genuinely cannot believe this, a basement defense to start out. Though, we will see, I feel like, not the most common strategy, but it's used decently often. You'll see a hard roam with those exterior walls reinforced and bandit batteries placed on them, just to make a full clear, which a lot of teams go for on basement. Just a little more difficult early on. And also a lot of presence from FaZe on this top floor. 2 players on the second floor, 1 supporting from swamp stairs or just outside a garage. Of course, they will all likely try to fall back sometime during the mid-round, but FaZe are really trying to stall time early on against DPlus.
And for good reason. We all watched those last handful of rounds on Oregon there. The defense was able to lock things up, not only in the frag category, timer category. That clock is the most vicious thing in Rainbow Six, especially on the offensive side of things. It can be your best friend on defense, I can tell you that. That's what FaZe are trying to do here. They're trying to make sure that they admire that clock as much as possible. This roam going swimmingly so far. Inspired from the astronauts back in the day, as they were the first ones to really make this a home. Dub house, as we usually call it in NA for them. Not so much in recent years, as it's kind of lost the plot a little bit, but still, the strat very, very solid and a good little feather to keep in the cap.
Yeah, sometimes we will see teams reinforce both Jacuzzi and Plat Wall, but FaZe actually leaving Jacuzzi soft and only focusing on holding CCTV Garage, which I think is the safer move with still a lot of impact. You can see that bit of control, but DPlus Kia are going to spend a lot of time droning you. With these Kiva barriers they've placed on the middle floor, there's avenues to retreat or get aggressive. In this case, Cyber with Handy at his back. Gets a kill inside a stock, ducks behind that Kiva barricade, and they all retreat down to the bottom floor. And what have DPlus Kia accomplished? Not that much, unfortunately.
Oh, that's super unlucky for Coded. Not only is he not capable of pushing that now, which might have been his play if he really wanted it, but the bigger thing is that everybody knows that he is in dirt. Somebody overplaying in Moto knows that he's in dirt. Those things sound like a nuke going off when you're on the same floor as them, so Soul's going to try and maintain vigilance of armoring. Coded ripping up the floorboards now, as they're trying to get some influence over that hatch, but I mean, Carter, there's only 30 seconds remaining. FaZe have played this out practically perfectly thus far. Presence upstairs, abusing that timer, and then last but surely not least, getting that kill on the soldier, making it to where they can all just fall back to site and play things out.
Yeah, a deadly combination of aggressive map denial early on, and then combining it with the Vulcan packs on the site to bring that same utility that won them their Oregon defenses. It's a rough go at it for DPlus Kia, and with 10 seconds remaining, they might as well just be eliminated and sent to the end of the round. Yas picks up 1 kill, but KDS knows somebody is pushing in from Oil Pit. Ooh, Coded with the kill. DPlus Kia with the advantage, but unfortunately, hold up. Vidaking finds him. Damali has to finish the plant, though. That was somehow a necessary 1v2 from Vidaking to win round 1. I was setting up the final bit like, dominant win for FaZe, blah, let's move on. That was a clutch, Sam. That was a clutch for FaZe.
Well, Carter, when you start peeking things that you really shouldn't, there's this realm of possibility that exists where you get screwed. And FaZe almost, brought that into reality. So, fortunately enough for them, Cyber still is damn good at the video game. And he'll be able to, rather, Vidaking, my bad, be able to pick both of those. But obviously that first kill, a lot difficult, a lot bigger piece of the pie there than killing the man getting the plant down. So, FaZe, for all intents and purposes, very well done. I just don't want to see them get overzealous again.
The first time having a lead this SI, again, we're shaking it off. We're limit testing.
You're a Swiftie now? Shake it off?
She did write that song, didn't she?
She did write that song.
Sorry.
Maybe I'm a Swiftie for knowing that.
There was a Disney show I watched when I was like, I don't know, 9, called Shake It Up, and I thought you were talking about that. I was like, that had Zendaya in it. What are you talking about? But no, you're right. There was a Taylor Swift. 3K from Yas and Vidaking that passed round, by the way. Only one of those players being on the winning side of round 1. As FaZe win basement, they move upstairs to CCTV. 2 round ban, we probably would have seen him here, but now we do not. Instead, hard breach denier will be entirely focused on that bandit. Handy's still with Dorina's pocket. He'll be actively bandit tricking, and there's no Thatcher on the board for DPlus Kia. So, while there's a whole lot of hard breach, 2 primaries, 1 secondary, without those nades from below, and without any EMPs, if my eyes don't deceive me, Handy might find quite a bit of success if he can manage to stay alive on this plat wall.
Cogs turning right now for DPlus. We can all see what they want as of right now, right? They wanted to try and go for that plat wall, but it looks like they might have to go to greener pastures here, try and work their way in from the master side. They had logistics hatch already open, so this is looking just way more accessible, especially with Bandit playing all the way over towards that eastern side of the map. So this isn't going to be too big of a deal for FaZe because there should be early recognition here from Cyber as he can always fall back over towards Vidaking and then can start locking things down in this regard, but could also try and hit that accelerator and possibly get a kill over here on the Jacuzzi wall.
You'd also see once FaZe started realizing where DPlus Key are pushing from, Handy put a Bandit battery on the Khan's single wall to make it harder to go for the construction side and bedroom side of push they wanted to go for. And now Handy has put his second Bandit battery on plat wall. They have fully realized they are not going for this part of the map. DPlus Kia get that opening pick. Boogeyman finding souls. Credit where credit's due, DPlus Kia, while conversion might sometimes be an issue, getting these picks has not been the problem. But now with that concussion, they know somebody's in this corner of Logi. There's two players to deal with him. Cyber just trying to stay alive as long as he can, put in the spin cycle inside of logistics. FaZe get one on the way out. While Cyber falls, King's able to cut down Coded, but DPlus Kia have a solid advantage and have acquired full control of the western part of the map.
This does get worrisome, though, the longer this goes, because Vidaking still has 3 smokes. It's sub-minute right now, and Handy still has a nitro cell. They're able to play this out successfully on the crosses, especially. This can most definitely still be a FaZe round. DPlus right on the precipice of being able to pick up one of these offensive rounds here on Club, and these things are worth their weight in gold. And consistently try and get something going on this side of the coin.
Attackers have located a bomb.
To see if he can potentially get that wall here. It's going to be Selma charges. Molly's going to try to get underneath. On this side, this is for the single panel for construction. Able to pop that open. Obviously still going to be very centered on this side. The whole reason that he's working this right now is just so he can have the counter angles here for the server stacks.
10 seconds remaining.
3 versus 3, and a little bit of an aggressive look here from Handy. Need a place to put this case down, though, as Yaz is going to pick it up. Very low HP on him, and that might be all she wrote right there, and it is. They don't have the ability to pressure FaZe off of any of these pivotal areas on site, even though they have the man count. They don't abuse it, Carter.
Just another solid anchor hold from FaZe, not getting too antsy, though, as we did see. Bandit sprinting in through the con breach.
Come on, man.
Again, it's going to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's overzealousness.
You gotta go for stuff every once in a while, right?
Who's to say? Like you said, you got to go for stuff once in a while.
Defenders
You play a lot of rounds as a Rainbow Six Pro. They're not all going to be stellar. You're going to make some mistakes. It's going to happen, whether they were truly mistakes or just unfortunate timing or not. The bigger picture there is not that somebody sprinted out of a wall when they didn't need to. Is that Vidaking held down red stairs like he was born there. Like it's been his home for 25 years. He just says, I have a shotgun. You walk up the stairs, it's not going to end well for you. DPlus Kia try to go from the plant from the con single door, but again, there's angles held by FaZe that can watch that very position. DPlus Kia did realize very quickly, all right, we're not equipped to really deal with this plat wall. Let's move over to Jacuzzi instead, try to get a kill on Cyber, pinch that position, and to their credit, they did it very successfully. Used plenty of their utility to secure that kill, and even though they lost one, still held a 4v3 by the end of it. It was a good mid-round from DPlus Kia, but that transition, it's still an indomitable FaZe, whether it's 5 players or 3 or 1 in the case of Vidaking at the beginning of the match. That's so far, only 2 rounds, but still so far, DPlus Kia have not been able to surmount.
So far, Vidaking, a master of home defense, as he is constantly at the necks of DPlus Kia.
Like Kevin McAllister with it.
Have Woogie starting to set himself up on the plat wall here. It's open for CCTV. Does he want to drop off now? Oh, no, he will not. He's going to try and play the window out here for Garage and to see if anybody does want to try and go for something aggressively. DPlus more than likely going to keep things a little widespread as of right now. Roof occupation a really big deal when it comes to this site, because if you open up those windows, you get some kind of cheeky angles, especially over from the garage area. We've seen that go down once or twice in that way, but usually just ends up in getting this hatch, looking towards a single panel here for construction, and then maybe messing around on the balcony while you're looking for the Jacuzzi wall.
Pretty standard start for a east to west clear when you're attacking gym bedroom. You have to meet this cache hold eventually. Whether it's even just holding a passive angle, making sure nobody can peek that window overlooking metal balcony. See the players on red stairs and cache right now. Woogieman could if he wanted to. If he wanted to play safe, just maybe go on the rappel and make sure nobody crosses to fight anybody holding maybe the gym window or the bedroom window. That's a viable strategy. But given the presence over here, 4 different players all surrounding the cache position on 2 different floors, they want to take this. They want to move in, but over half the round's gone. 1:40 it's been, and while it seems like DPlus Kia are accomplishing things, they've opened up flat wall, used some of those Selmas to open new angles. Now Handy's starting to pull back, and KDS can play his life here. He'll cut off the position, and if he gets even 1 kill and falls, that's enough at this point.
Do not ever mistake activity for progression, Carter. It's happening right here. DPlus, they're doing a lot of movement, but they're not really accomplishing much. KDS has been allowed to exist on red stairs of all things in this setup for 2 solid minutes, and he just killed the molly. He might be able to get another one as well, but not able to find that headshot. FaZe will just be able to work their way back to site, and then just let KDS do whatever he wants. He's more than likely dead here. He's going to try and get as many kills as he wants, and he can also rotate back downstairs. Going to get shot from the side here at the basement. Player should be the one to pick him up, and indeed it will be. It's going to be coded, but look at the timer, guys. Look at the timer.
The timer in that situation, all 4 players on DPlus here were all staring at KDS's position because they knew they had to deal with him, but some struggling to make a move. They knew it had to be done, but given the low time, everyone was focused on clearing that out and not focused on pushing the site. That's not necessarily their fault, but when somebody decides to rat like that and they get a kill and have an impact, you have to deal with it with low time. It's a difficult situation to work your way out of. Woogieman pushes in. C4 forces him off the plant spot. It doesn't result in a kill. Cyber might be able to find him. Oh no, there's something in his way. He has to take the fight with a man on bedroom window. Pushes on in. Woogieman gets the kill on the fall off. 4v2 for DPlus Kia, despite the huge impact from KDS, stalling time down to 10 seconds. Souls and Vidaking. Vidaking in a familiar spot this matchup, having to find his way out of a clutch, and he won't do it! DPlus Kia get their first round despite the odds, despite the difficulty of clearing out cache. With only 10 seconds left, they mount a winning execute.
Just imagine if they didn't drag their feet. Just imagine, Carter. It seems like the timer is forcing them to play the game in a lot of these circumstances. But if they just had that confidence in some of these situations, especially with things like red stairs, they've fully identified what is happening with KDS, what is happening with this cache room setup, and they sit at the gates for 1:45. That's too long. That is so unbelievably long. That round, for all intents and purposes, should have been FaZe's through and through. It's just that FaZe, for some odd reason, not able to shut down DPlus Kia, especially with Woogie moving in to get to that planning position. It seemed like they had so many options. They even had players downstairs, but they couldn't find where he was planting with the impacts. Just a lot went awry for FaZe in those dying moments.
DPlus Kia certainly thankful it did, though, as it gets their first round on Clubhouse so far.
5 seconds left before insertion.
It could be 2-1 if Vidaking doesn't clutch that 1v2, but it's been a very weird game so far. There's rounds that arguably should have been DPlus Kia's, but FaZe somehow looked dominant, then it swung the other way, then swung the other way again. It's been a very hectic 3 rounds so far. Rounds one and rounds 3 especially so. As you move back down to basement, as the site has now opened up for selection by FaZe. Not running the exact same row. No bandit. Nobody pushed all the way up to that second floor. This is a similar switch up to what we saw in Oregon. Testing the limits of what DPlus Kia are capable of or could fall to, and then pulling back a little bit. Even though that roam was successful, and they ended up winning the round, though it got weird in the middle part of it, they still said, okay, we know they're slow on attacking. Let's just give them another look. Let's constantly change things up so they're forced to rethink their game plan. Let's not make it so they can treat the first minute and a half the same as they did before. We're going to keep giving them new looks so they keep executing with 30 seconds or 10 seconds left. And so they never get to sort of go on autopilot and have success in a shorter period of time.
Exactly. It's never going to be the same song and dance, and that's what I love so much about this strategy here from FaZe. Is it just makes it to where DPlus Kia has to respect the map. They have to go through their checklist and make sure that, you know, their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted. Otherwise, there could be that one roamer that they really weren't suspecting because, oh, well, you know, FaZe did this previously and then they pulled everybody back. Why would they have a roamer? And then, obviously, you get punished or something along those lines. So DPlus Kia, again, have to respect that. do their best to try and find some gaps in this map, in this defense that FaZe has brought to bear here for round 4. Once again, it's going to be more utility work than anything. This time around, though, a little bit more successful on this. Fortunate circumstances befalling this hatch as of right now. Soul's going to go for the Electro Shuffle if he gets it. I don't think he will. They're going to drop another EMP, so Soul's going to pick that up, immediately hightail it out of there. Really like this move, Carter.
I do as well. Good from Damali as well. It's a small thing. It seems like it should be taken for granted, but being able to land those EMPs consistently, that's one of those things you just don't have to worry about. If you have someone that can do that often, especially a new pickup like Damali on DPlus, if you can just have someone do that, it's one less thing to worry about. And against an opponent like FaZe, you want to minimize the amount of things you need to worry about, the concerns you have, if you want to have success. Grim, just sitting on the blue hatch, waiting for the call to come in so we can send all of those Bs into the bomb site and give the intel for the players executing. Soldier moving in the dirt. Little separated. Where's the bulk of this going to come from? Where's the big push? Boogeyman over by the kitchen hatch. He's going to go for that drop. DPlus Kia have so many angles covering this, and all of FaZe Clan stuck inside of Arsenal, but Vidiking reacts at the right time. Shuts down Coded as he sprints in through the ash wall. Moves down to a 5v3 as Damali looking to recover down in barely the same position. Potentially a flawless round in the cards, and indeed will be for FaZe, as it's the most easy round they've had so far.
Absolutely. The most dominant as well. I mean, very, very straightforward for them as they simply set up the sites, set up the map, and awaited the arrival of DPlus Kia. I think the only aggression that we saw at all, Carter, was Andy playing main stairs and sending some shots over towards bar there for a little while, but they backed that off too and just awaited the arrival of DPlus Kia downstairs. It worked out very swimmingly. It's going to be perfect site rotation there for FaZe as be able to head back upstairs here. Plus Kia, only that one round so far. I do believe that was on Master Bedroom, so kind of an off-kilter site there if you really want to consider it. But honestly, you can find success on any of these sites when it comes to Clubhouse. It's just a really, really good defensive map. So DPlus at least have some light in the tunnel, that in mind, but definitely want at least at a bare minimum one more round here before this half ends.
I'm curious then whether DPlus Kia will react to obviously the heavy presence from the Bandit on Flatwall last time. We do see Soldier pick that Maverick. Before, we didn't see a Thatcher in that round.
They had the Kaid this time too, so they can just split duty.
Nice. Of course, you can put those Electro Claws on the garage wall, put it wherever you want, really. But handy, more importantly, if before he felt comfortable actively Bandit tricking, now he feels even more so. But DPlus Kia have reacted. No Thatcher, which again was absent last time, but Soldier instead going to the Maverick. A bit riskier of an option, but still nullifies the Bandit.
And now, this is the fun part, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Is he good at map tricking? Let's find out. Does he start up top? That's the main thing. He has to start at the top of the wall. If you start with the bottom of the wall, folks at home, you're trolling. Don't do that. Okay? You need a little assistance here with the garage door. Souls is gonna find Yaz. Did Yaz go in secret?
No. Yaz was all the way outside main door by the bike racks, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he killed him at the bar double. Oh my god. Wow. Okay. Very well done.
Snipe? Jeez.
Oh, at 1.5, really working out. Gonna go for the right panel. Interesting. Okay.
We're just gotta be careful that maybe Vita King isn't able to then move up Red Hall and play close with the shotgun. That's a concern. Oh. Greater concern, though? Handy, landing that C4. I don't think it opened the wall. Did it not make it soft? Did he get killed at like the last second?
So
it didn't.
I'll tell you what happened. It's not the bottom piece. It's the top portion. I saw the metal line still running through. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong about that. Now on second glance, it doesn't seem like it's still there. But either way, yeah, that is the situation. There's a portion of that wall that he missed out on the map trick.
They electrified it. How? With what?
Cyber got it.
He got it. Dude. You're goddamn right, this is FaZe Clan. He just hit a trick shot. This is 2012, did he 360 it?
Oh man, I'm on ill cams right now. That's insane. Yeah, no, DPlus, if they win this round, that's incredible. But as of right now, this is chalked. This is so chalked.
I mean, 5v3, they don't have garage control, and they're, again, with the frag grenade changes and the Capital ban, aside from frag grenades in the previous meta, Capital was the #1 solution to the garage hold. And he's banned. Oh. So what are you going to do? Try to flash? Well, he just ends up flashing himself. It very much is chalked. But KDS finds some damage. He's aware of the push-up garage stairs, but if they can get this kill, if they can get it, it's a 5v1 now. So, Coded will not pick up Soul just yet. He'll down him instead. But a second flawless round in a row from FaZe. I was really excited by the renewed interest of Platwall by DPlus Kia, but man, oh man, did that round begin and end on the balcony.
This is just a vicious ground and pound right now from FaZe. There is just no defense being played from DPlus Kia right now. They cannot keep their face covered at all.
They're on the attack, Sam. Sorry.
Well, yeah, obviously, but in reference to what I was talking about.
No metaphors, no metaphors.
No metaphors, not allowed, not allowed. But yeah, I mean, the biggest moment there for me, Carter, was the fact that the splash damage did so much through that breach at the bottom. The wall wasn't even broken. He killed him from 100 to 0 with that nitro.
That's why I assumed he broke open the wall, because normally you see someone throw that C4, it lands right as it goes soft, and then that's what blows up and kills the Maverick. I really don't see anybody get a C4 kill just from one of the lines on the Maverick wall. So when I saw it wasn't opened up, I was like, how did he land that? Then of course you have Cyber following it up, just throwing an Electrica, cross map, as you do, and it icing on the cake. It doesn't just trick hard breaching. It tricks an exothermic, which you have to be like pixel perfect if you want to get rid of that thermite charge. So an excellent utility round from FaZe, and what so far has been a very, very dominant game on Clubhouse. Just one more round would solidify it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so crazy. I love that you brought that up as well, because when it comes to thermite charges up against Kaid, he actually has to predict when that exothermic's going down. Like, if you hear the animation start, the timer's basically already passed. Like, Kaid's stuff takes so long to start up, so it's pretty incredible that he was able to get that off without a hitch. So now DPlus Kia will be at least able to get the breach this time around, but obviously not the same defense here for FaZe, as it'll be over in Master.
And the one round segment that DPlus Kia have had. 4-2-half in what might end up being a pretty defender-sided 6 invitational. There could be worse things to happen. They need to win it here if they have a chance. A 5-1 seems inevitable for FaZe Clan to win with how strong they've looked in this series so far. No early kill either way, but will be the focus, at least on utility so far, as FaZe pulling back, not pushing too far out beyond the realms of course, Gym Bedroom, but also that cash position we saw before. I'm sure DPlus Kia will be ready for the Red Stairs player this time. Maybe Handy C4 will throw things into the mix, but we actually really need to see them take control of cash, DPlus Kia that is, take control of cash without losing too much, whether it be time, man advantage. This needs to be a win. This needs to be a win in the mid-round.
Oh, it got stuck at the top of the wall there, unfortunately for Handy. The lineup just not consistent, apparently. He just hasn't looked at that one in a while and attempted on a whim, but now KDS, I can't believe that either, my friend. Full sprinting at the stairwell, didn't even have his gun up when he swung that angle, and that's exactly why KDS wins it. Coda just doesn't have a firearm. Damali is going to get sussed out there. The fear. KDS. Oh, wow.
I'm losing it.
I had to give it a second there to breathe because I didn't know if Soldier was going to meet the same fate, but fortunately enough, he'll finally shut things down on the red stairs. But once again, KDS, at the top of red, gets away with way too much.
You know, if you don't know, empirically he's there. If you don't know for certain, that is almost the thing that lost you the one round you've won so far. And Coded, just like Damali in that round. Damali sprinting up, dies to KDS. Coded, the more experienced player, sprinting up the stairs. No caution? No at least idea that, hey, maybe he's here, I should have my gun up. Whereas before, at least, DPlus Kia vaulted in the bedroom window and suddenly got the bomb down. It's now FaZe in the 4v2. Woogieman hopping in the building, but not the bomb site. He can't just suddenly dodge a C4 and get the bomb down. He's the only one left, sitting behind the pallets. Handy giving him freebies at least, so Woogieman can pad the stats a little bit, but DPlus Kia somehow, on the one site they've won, looking worse in the reattempt, and just forgetting KDS plays red stairs? I don't want to be that negative, but you just need to be careful like that. If you want to go far in this tournament, you can't make a mistake like that.
Yep. You're hitting the nail on the head, my friend. Trust me, I would back you down if you were going a little bit too far, but you're most definitely not. The thing about it is that DPlus Kia, it's like, I don't know if they're just not considering it or if they're just not respecting it. And that's the thing, is it's like, I don't really understand the thought process behind that and just thinking that KDS, of all people, is just going to allow you to walk towards him. Guys, it's not going to happen. Like, he's going to take the fight, and not only that, he's probably going to push it to its limit, which we literally saw in that last fight when he killed the Thatcher on Breach.
He plays his life there. What? He plays his life there. He says, if I can get a kill, that solidifies it. And when you're in red stairs trying to rotate back, especially if you're against a good team, that's a very hard rotation to make. They've opened up flat wall because a lot of the time, if you're holding Cash, you full reinforce the wall between Cash and CCTV. So nobody can really help you. You just have to hope they don't kill you on that rotation or that they're not looking. So KDS knows that position. He knows more likely than not he will have to play his life there. And if he can get a kill, he absolutely has to at that point. But DPlus Kia making mistakes, and unfortunately, as that half is now ended, Damali once again having an unfortunate scoreline. This is his first 6 Invitational. So, as the new pickup on a very storied roster, it's going to happen sometimes. I'm not going to harp on it too much. We all have nerves before big events.
Yep.
But still, 0-6 so far in that half, whereas FaZe, 2 games in a row, aside from Vidaking running away with it 8-1, another consistent performance generally across the board.
Yep. Things do happen, and I mean, like you said, Carter, this is the biggest event for Rainbow Six Siege in our calendar year. And not only that, he's playing up against a historic org. That it doesn't matter what game you play, you know who FaZe Clan are.
Yes.
There's a lot going through the mind of this man right now. So give him a little grace, folks. Hopefully we can get some things figured out here for the later matches. But as of right now, they're not playing up to the caliber of player that he would expect out of himself. So somebody's kicking themselves. You don't need to kick them as well. ADS, hop right into CCTV. Does have one to worry about over on the red stairs, but do they know? There's so many people in this area, Cyber. Oh my god, Cyber! Oh, he's down 1 too! There is some potential for this to go really wrong if KDS does something crazy here, but he's a little bit too far gone as of right now. Did have a chance here. Coded.
2 rounds in a row.
Coded. KDS on offense this time too! It's so ridiculous, and it's the exact same circumstances, but he is IQ instead. What the hell is going on here?
Wherever you go, there you are. 4v4 though, DPlus Kia have wasted 1 minute and 50 seconds, and while that is silly, and that is just a very funny coincidence, it's 1 minute left, and FaZe are just now entering bar. DPlus Kia have stalled so much time, taken down Cyber, the main entry for FaZe, and basement is a very difficult site to just cobble together with... Oh, that's soft. All right. To just cobble together with 30 seconds left. You got to decide, are we doing a church main hall push, a blue push, and even no matter what push you do, you kind of have to focus on the other part of the bomb site as well, or the other part of the bottom floor. There's so many different angles you have to watch, so many different points you have to pressure, and FaZe are a great team. Don't get me wrong. If anybody can do it in this lobby, I'm sure FaZe Clan could theoretically do it. But DPlus Kia, to their credit, have put FaZe in a very difficult position, and they have to work through it quickly.
Little bluff there by the Thermite of Vidaking as he's going to toss those flashes into blue. Damali will get his first kill of the game. They're going to try and walk in now. They'll find one, but they really need a home for this planner. Handy. And right around the bend here, it's going to be Yaz on the receiving end if he does go for that swing, but instead it's going to be Woogie that takes out 2 and gets the round for DPlus Kia on this defense. They did enough, Carter. That delay worked out swimmingly for them, and especially nobody over-swinging from Secret. I think that was the key thing right there, you know?
Yes.
Had those 3 people there, and they all head back downstairs. It was just coded as he kind of trickled in from bar, just decided that he wanted to go up red for some reason, and ended up meeting his fate. So DPlus Kia staving off FaZe's potential last round there. They were able to pick that up. They would have only needed 1 more.
That's the big thing for DPlus Kia right there. Of course, wasting the first half of the round just on that super strong roam, but nobody really over-peaking aside from maybe Damali in Secret. But even then, you had 2 other players close by on different sides of the hallway. You can get that trade, no problem. Even if Damali ended up dying, a 4v4 is perfectly fine in that area because of the time you've wasted, the control you've now denied, and as well, the rest of the team gets back safely. If you have to sacrifice 1 player from that, specifically a Fenrir who's already put down all of his gadgets, sure, you might lose some codes, but you gain much more in the long run. Then after that, DPlus Kia rotate back, hold off for the rest of the round, and that roam is what built the rest of the success they had. That is what started things off good, not only for DPlus Kia in that round, but in this half as well. It's now the second round they picked up in this series so far. They can net together a third on Gym Bedroom. Sure, FaZe pick up one round match point. We've certainly got a whole hell of a lot more to talk about for DPlus Kia than we did on their attacking half.
Yes, we most definitely do. First thing I want to touch on, Damali wants to be KDS so bad. Do you see this? Playing top red with Warden. Deployable shield out.
Okay. I know KDS did very good there. This is not the KDS position.
No, it is now.
Other people do play here.
No. See, top red was very, very played out like 2 or 3 years ago. Then everybody stopped doing it, if you remember. Like, they just stopped making that rotation and shield. And now, for some reason, in the last, like, 6 months, everybody's been like, so what if we just dusted off this play?
I think probably one of the explanations for it is the element of risk and percentages of plays working out in gambling has become a lot more at the forefront of how people play Siege. They're willing to take more risks, willing to take in other factors and try and bet on things. And playing your life in a position is effectively a bet. You say, all right, there's low time, I'm holding a position, I could get a kill. If I do, I could win the round for my team. And in that position, it makes sense for it to make a resurgence at this point in time. But whether it's Damali or KDS, it's the same methodology either way. And FaZe, they were able to be in that red stair spot before. You hope now they know how to deal with it, and they do!
Big brain play there. KDS tried to get it done with the frag grenade earlier, but I think that's another reason we're kind of starting to see that point come back into plays because of the frag grenade rework. Kind of difficult to get those things to land and instantaneously blow up your opponent. So, still have the opportunity to try and slink away from that red position. But instead, they use the Rotero drone, and what a beautiful shout. Love that. Get rid of that shield, make it to where you really can't hear anything with that constant beeping being right next to you. A great swing there from the IQ. Not the cleanest kill that KDS has ever had, but one that they desperately needed.
5v4 established, full cash control and con control acquired. Well, actually not full, but the Azami huge overswing from Boogeyman right there. Coded's able to find two. No, Yas finds Handy instead. With Cyber down on the floor, could work out, but Yas is off site. If they figure this out, they might be able to push on in. The actual bomb site itself is clear. King hops on in, but Yas spots him. Huge pickup. Yas now can waste time off of the bomb site. Souls might have control, but he needs to recover the diffuser, then move in, and if Yas just hangs back, forces Souls to plant with less time than the diffuser has to plant, this is an easy win. This is round 2. He's got the position. He's got it figured out, trying to force Souls off, and Souls does fall off, but he gets the kill anyway! I thought he was going to stick it, but at the 11th hour with 0.5 seconds left, he falls off, the pre-fire lands, match point for FaZe.
Just a little salt in the wound on that one.
That's brutal. Yas almost played that exactly how you should, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved everything that he was going for there. Just the random shots he was shooting out, a couple melees against the door or whatever, right? It was great. So, you know, as for FaZe as of right now, I really think that it just seems like they've got everything on their side, right? Even in that round, you and I both standing in agreement with this. Yas plays that out pretty damn perfectly and still gets punished on the swing. All because, as you said, the 11th hour. Like, oh, well, what if I just pop off the case and pre-fire the bomb chassis? Works out swimmingly.
That's sometimes what happens, and unfortunately, DPlus Kia on the receiving end of it. But DPlus Kia, they haven't been playing incredible, but there have certainly been good moments and unrealized potential in some of these rounds. That one, of course, being the most recent example, but we talked about a couple different rounds on Oregon. There's surely been at least 1 or 2 on Clubhouse as well. So this game, while none of them end up turning this into a potential DPlus Kia victory, it ends up making it closer, but is also an indicator that there are just some moments where FaZe, in either split-second thinking or even luck in some cases, are making the right moves, whether with their knowledge or not, and DPlus Kia are getting punished for it. Souls at the last second falling off. Sometimes it's just those little extra things that you don't account for that could be instinct or luck that end up making the match go your way. It just so happens here. Yeah. It just so happens the difference here is it's the difference between a 7-4 versus a 7-2 in Clubhouse. FaZe still in the driver's seat, very much so overall.
Do you hear that in the distance? Doot, 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 doot.
I hear Parker's voice.
I hear Parker constantly. I hear Parker in my dreams, dude. He haunts me.
R6 is #1 yapper over there. Always.
No, you've definitely taken that crown. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just like
You do a fair bit of yapping.
Nick said in the green room, he's like, you have 10 phrases and you just cycle through them. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Insane. Well, we're going to revisit Red here again. Coded's actually going to mute things up. I love that so much. So they're putting that mute jammer there, folks, so the Rotero drones can't get access. But if you're smart and you look over the right-hand side of the screen, you'll realize FaZe didn't have that anyways. So it doesn't really matter. All it's going to stop is any info trying to roll in there, I guess, if they want to get that close. But for a while now, Mute's jammers have had not the best AoE presence since we changed those a little while back. So they should be able to skirt that pretty easily here. We'll have Souls torching up Jacuzzi Wall, so FaZe can get access to the building. FaZe also bringing the Ying in what could potentially be the final round of this series. And Operator, we haven't seen a whole lot of in this series so far. And she's broad, maybe we've seen some Candelas, but it hasn't felt like been the deciding factor so far. Wow. I
respect that, yes.
I respect the hustle.
Yep.
I respect the hustle from Yas right there. And he gets away with it, so good job. But FaZe in round 9 looking to just end this decisively. Open up the angles they want, Jacuzzi Wall, Logistics Hatch, and just throw all of those Candelas in, cause chaos, and end this all in one fell swoop. It's not going to be a slow prodding here or there. FaZe will open up maybe 5 different angles and then try to cause as much chaos in the ranks of DPlus Kia because they're not holding on to cash aggressively. They're not doing this far out roam. If you want to disrupt a pretty tight setup, just throw explosive element into the ring, which is those Candelas. And also, with one player on red stairs, and he's got the perfect cutoff rate.
Honestly, wouldn't even be mad about soaking up the Kiba barriers either. Keep
No,
tossing them, you know?
just punching them.
Yeah. Keep giving them to me, Woogie. Make sure to get rid of them for you. Make life a little bit harder for the defense if you want to keep going on that line. Already got this wall open. That was that earlier torch job that we saw from Souls. King now looking to more than likely drop into Logi off the back of this. Able to find one. Top stairs is what he's really got to be concerned with, but it seems like he's just got the hammer and the anvil. Vita King! It's a triple. There's a smoke down, but I do believe that's going to be the Warden of Damali. He works into construction, but KDS is on the other end, and the defensive setup, it's working back into the offensive favor. Round 9 goes to FaZe, and so does Clubhouse.
A good attempt from DPlus Kia, especially on Oregon, but the highs from FaZe, the great moments. It always felt, even in some of those defeats, that they had a fighting chance to clinch those rounds. And in their debut, what else could you expect from a potential grand final contender? Predicted by us and players alike to make that. Then a 2-0 to start out their time in this group. Good job to FaZe, and of course for DPlus Kia. While they've taken this loss, while they've taken the 2-0, there were good moments, Sam. Sure, maybe Damali didn't have the best performance. Players like Yas felt confident to take some gunfights, to take some risks. Soldier as well, going back to Oregon, deciding to push into angles. DPlus Kia looked like, even though they needed to be forced to do it, they could make the right decision when it counted. There's still some echoes of that slow team we've seen in Copenhagen and Atlanta.
Yeah, you could definitely tell there was a little jittery action going on walking into this match for DPlus, but I mean, honestly, got to give them the benefit of the doubt in that regard. You're going up against FaZe Clan in their home country. There is a lot on the line for them, and I mean, you're just trying to get through the thick of it, especially with a new player in the works. You know, for all intents and purposes, I don't think that it went terribly for them at all. There's a lot of things that they can work with. There was some good success stories there as well for both maps, honestly. So hopefully DPlus Kia can find some success here at SI.
And also, it's FaZe, and you got it out of the way with first.
Exactly.
You have teams with far more checkered records in your group for the rest of the way. Bliss, sure they're improving, but they still need to actually prove what they're capable of. SSG, who honestly could seemingly beat or lose to any team on any given day.
I don't even want to talk about what's happening with them right now.
SSG and FaZe in the same sense. If you guys watched that Atlanta quarterfinal, I just don't even want to remember how my heart was up and down that night. the Wolves as well, who have also had a lot of problems this year in being, of course, they always make it internationally, but still sometimes struggle to really reach that highest echelon possible. DPlus Kia have got probably one of, if not the best team in this group, at least based on the record, out of the way with. If you were expected to lose here, unfortunately you did. But now there are other teams that you can focus on that haven't proven themselves, like Bliss, where you still have a non-0% chance and maybe even a decent chance of picking up a win on and not being the one team to go home.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. If anything, if you had a choice in this, you'd much rather have this happen as your first match, because you get to get all of that experience as well. You get to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, these things worked up against a really good team, and this didn't. We're not doing this anymore against X, Y, and Z, but we are going to do A through whatever. So we'll have to see what they can do with these future matchups. But I am in agreement with you, my friend. I really do think there is still some potential for DPlus Kia to figure things out in this group.
Of course, that's the first half of the day on Stream B done, of course. FaZe, DPlus, Kia gone, SSG, Wolves. We got 2 more best of 3s to go today. We'll see you, Sam and I will, for Game 4 later. But before we get to Game 3 after this, we'll have a short break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.